Again, I decided to take off to the coast. I'm at the Olympic National Park, second beach on the Washington coast, and enjoyed stomping around again up in the forest on the Grey Wolf River on the Olympic Peninsula, and in the forest, and it's raining like crazy, and there were a few sun breaks along the way, and it was just nice to get out there, get some fresh air again, and stomp around in the creek. So today, I was surprised. I didn't look at tides or sunset or anything, and it's late afternoon. I thought I'd come out here for the sunset, and it is choppy. It's got to be a high tide. I haven't seen it this high at this beach before, and it's raging out there. So I tried to capture, set up here, and I sat down below until the water just came blasting in, and I had to move to higher ground. So these rock formations here are quite nice, and with the tide raging, I tried to capture a lot of wave action hitting this group of rocks in the distance with the trees on it, and this one nearby, and of course the foreground here. And did some long exposure, seeing if I can later convert to black and white and process those accordingly. So I expected rain today. That wasn't in the forecast, and I get down here and a nice ocean mist, breeze, and again water's just howling, sun getting low, so I'm hoping for a nice sunset, and pretty quick I'll get set up here and look for an ideal spot. I want to get some rocks in the foreground, the tide moving, and of course the sun getting low. But with the tide, it's definitely high, and I don't see it backing off quite yet. So I'll give it some time, and maybe then I can scoot down closer to the water's edge. So this is where I set up initially, actually down below here, and then I had to move on up. So I picked this rock right here, and I'll give you a look here. Shot quite a bit with this large rock in the front here, and now there's a bird on it. It's a gull of some sort, and then that water crashing over those rocks with the huge peak there, that stack, and then the trees on the top, and with the light coming in at an angle more northerly right now this time of year, hitting the north faces of those rocks and the waves coming up. So used a lot of filters. Of course, my Polar Pro missed, and usually 2 stops, but I put on a 1000, and it's an old Hoya that I have, and really smoothed that water out quite a bit. So, but again, don't know till I get them back into Lightroom and then Photoshop what I have. So I'm going to wander down the beach. That's the way I came. The trailhead is down there where those people are walking, and then I just came up to the edge here and basically trapped, as you can see, right here. So I'm pretty high as I can get at the moment. So I assume the tide will start backing off. So again, I blasted out here to the coast, Washington coast, and Olympic Peninsula, Olympic National Park, and Second Beach. And I've been here many times, of course, but it's healing elements, and that's what I need right now. La Push is further north up the coast, and then this is Second Beach, Third Beach, pardon me, and then South Washington coast that way. Walk down the beach, south that is, like I said, and you can really tell those waves are just screaming in through here. You can tell with the stack out there in the dark background, it's really moving. It's beautiful. So sunset there. This is pretty renowned for that hole right there. So that hillside comes down, and I don't know if the timing would be just right. Sometimes you can catch that sun coming through that hole, so I guess that's what I'll wait for. Looking for the right sunlight composition, and then one of these rocks in the foreground. When the tide is out, that's all rock. You can walk clear out there and around that stack there when the tide is out, and all of this over there is just the bay. In fact, you can walk around the corner where I was, and it's a beautiful cove in there. We can't reach it now, as you can tell. The waves are just screaming in there too. So beautiful. I hope I timed this right. I did anyway, for fresh air, ocean breeze, and sunlight. As the sun starts to drop, I don't know if the timing will be such, its position on the horizon to come through that hole in the wall, but I'm going to wait it out. In the meantime, I walked up into the shadows there, and the tide was still moving up into these rocks, and was careful not to walk on the fresh sand now. Nobody else is out here. People have left. So if I do set up a composition here, I don't want any footprints. So I walked up high down there, and just down toward the water, and some nice rock formations with a stick in there. And it took a few shots. Could potentially be converted to black and white, but I'll decide that later. So just waiting it out, and hope you stay tuned.
People laughed. Some people cried. Most people were silent.
Set it up best I think I can. I know this has been shot a million times. I've never really taken a good crack at it at sunset. But that sun's getting pretty low, and it's getting closer to the hole in the wall there. There's really no foreground as far as composition other than the smooth sand and the sunlight coming off it. So there's a haze in the horizon as well, which is beautiful, but if I were to capture some sun rays, it may not be conducive to that. So I don't know. And the waves are still bashing through the hole as well as the point to the cliff there. So this is where I set up. The sun just keeps moving a bit north and down, and I'm wondering if I'll get enough light through the hole there. And the waves are beating through it as well still. If I don't nail it, it's beautiful anyway. Glad I came. I'm just shooting away here. F6. I've got my mist filter on, and keeping it at about 1/90th, and I think I timed it just right. There's going to be no sun rays, but the light is filtering through the mist there, and it's a golden hue coming off the sand here as well. So I'm just shooting away. Thought I'd give you a look. Got that one with the wave crashing right in front of it. I've been trying to capture that light coming through, and then the waves busting on that pillar on the far left. So I'm liking it. So I'm going to put you down. That was nice. I think I got what I came for. I not only got several images earlier, but the sunlight coming through there. It's almost with the waves busting through and the moisture in the air, almost like a rainbow. So I ran off a bunch of exposures there, catching it as it just got lower, and then a few with the sun actually setting right through the hole, but I don't think those turned out real well. I like that filtered light coming through instead. So that's a wrap. I'm going to hit the trail and head back. Really my highlight was going to be tomorrow morning, so I'm going to be up here before daylight. If you'd like to come along, I hope you do. And don't know what the weather's going to do. I'll check it when I get back later on within range of cell phone. See what the weather's going to do in the morning, and if it's cloudy, overcast, just fine. So hope you join me then, and thanks for watching. Morning. Thanks for coming back. If you did, as I promised last night, I'd be back down to Second Beach this morning, and just got here. Sunrise is about 6:15, 6:20, something like that. Very overcast and cloudy, just the way I like it. Not a whole lot of mist in the air. That's what I was hoping for. So I just got here. It's high tide again. It's not screaming like it was last night, but it's pushing pretty hard. I'll show you bashing against the rocks here, and high tide. I think it's starting to go out now. So hopefully with this cloud cover and overcast, it won't get too bright too quick, so I can take some time to set up some composition, and probably more so do some long exposures and conversions to black and white. So again, good morning. Second Beach, Olympic Peninsula, Olympic National Park.
It is that you are looking right at the brilliant light now, that the experience you are having, which you call ordinary everyday commerce, pretending you're not it.
I think the tide is still moving in. I walked up north where I was last night, the furthest north on the beach that I had gone for sunset, and it's pushing pretty hard. So I'm looking for a composition here. I want some nice formations in the foreground, and that one particular rock next out that I was shooting last night with the seagull on it, maybe slow it down a lot and do some black and white conversions. The sky is perfect for that. Nice slow moving cloud cover, pretty gray, and I'll see what I can work with. I had to run for higher ground. That tide is pushing pretty hard. Tide is moving out. It's about 6:45 now. And I put on my Polar Pro Mist filter and put these rocks in the foreground, and that one rock in the center, and just a little bit of the horizon. It's getting light now. Some nice color in the sky, some blue, gray, and then just a slight sunrise pinkish tint to it. So I went from anywhere from 3-second exposure to 4, and with the Mist ND filter, anywhere from 2 stops, 3 stops, 4 stops to 5, and it smoothed it out quite nice. But I like the horizon with the colors in the background, and there's some nice blue in the tide here as well. So I'm pleased with that. It's getting light quick. I hate to lose the morning haze and clouds, but the prediction or the forecast was a sunny day in the Pacific Northwest, and clear skies. So I think I got here early enough before it gets too bright. So 7:30, and it keeps getting brighter, so I think I'm going to call it. Let's see, backing up a bit, there's this nice rock I like right here as the foreground, and then shot into that pillar where those waves are crashing and then switched location up there, different perspective, with again that rock right there. And with various settings, of course, and switching the ND adjustable filter from 2 to 5, slow it down a bit. Again, it's getting brighter, kind of losing some of the early color, turning pretty much blue now. And then I shot long ways, and I was thinking, I stacked these using the filter still at only about 2 stops. So I focused stacked with this rock again in the foreground, and then I'll show you in a minute. And then the large one to the right in the center, and then as far as you can see down the coast with my third shot, using live view, of course, and trying to get it all into focus. The only issue is the wave action that may not blend too well. So I'll turn it around and give you a look at what I did. I was thinking ultimately a conversion to black and white if these blend well. So as I said, this rock here, I like this pointed one, boulders, a little bit of the wood stump on the left, and then of course center, third exposure, the stack in the center there, and then some of that huge rock on the left. That's the trailhead right there. And then as far as you can see in the distance, I brought those stacks, that point there, into focus. So hopefully that'll turn out well. I've walked along high on the beach so I wouldn't leave any tracks. So really there's no one here. I've had it all to myself. And then when I left last night too. So no footprints in this sand. You can see obviously that tide is still pushing. Tide's going out, but man, it's sure aggressive out there. As I had mentioned last night, around that edge there, that rock, that peak, is a cove. It's real nice in there. Of course, last night nor today could I get in there. But when the tide's out, this is all tide pool and rock formation. And I mentioned last night you can actually walk around that stack there and around when the tide's low, and starfish, other sea life. Last time I was here to catch the sunset, it was nice to see the starfish. As I believe in Puget Sound, in many areas they're dying off for whatever reason, probably pollution. But it was good to see them. So you can actually tide pool all of this area in here. It's quite nice. But that's pretty aggressive out there this morning as well as last night. So I think that's a wrap for me. As I mentioned on the Gray Wolf video, if you follow, please hit the like button as I figure out whether to keep going, to move on, continue. I enjoy it for sure, and I hope to find it a sense of healing and recovery for myself. But time will tell. And, obviously I do enjoy it, but primarily getting out in the places that I've grown up in, the Pacific Northwest, that is. So appreciate you following along. Second Beach, Olympic Peninsula, night, sunset, and then early morning. Talk to you later.